Hello guys, welcome to the next video. This one can be slightly different from how I normally do videos, as I've been talking to someone who suffers from autism, and because of that they didn't necessarily want to be recorded or to have their voice recorded either. So I'll be voicing both parts, but I've got the full thing written down. Because due to what I was doing last one, this would have been recorded on time, but you know what's like over Christmas period and New Year, always busy. So it's important that we discuss such topics so that we can raise more awareness for people, so they're going to see autism and automatically associate with all the negative parts of it. Autism is a very umbrella term. It needs to be approached carefully. So the more people that speak out and tell their experiences of suffering from autism, then the better it will become. I'm sure of that. So we'll make a start. Hopefully the message will come across despite the awkward way I'm going to be doing it, because I'm still learning this, to be honest with you, and it's going to be hard work, but we'll give it a go. Okay. Hi, how are you? Okay. So, could you tell me what the mental health issues you suffer from?
I suffer from autism, anxiety, depression, with suicidal thoughts and tendencies in the past.
So, do you know where on the autism spectrum you sit?
The autism spectrum is fairly large, but I rest between classic and what they call NLD, non-verbal learning disorder.
This is going to be a difficult question, but do you think you could tell me how you feel that your autism affects you in your everyday life?
Many ways. It influences my mood and what happens during the day. I react disproportionately to pretty much everything, both good and bad things. I always have to keep that in mind to manage my reactions. My mind makes stupid connections between things, so sometimes small things can become massive, which is compounded by the large amount of self-doubt that plague me.
So, how old were you when you were diagnosed with autism?
I was originally diagnosed around 10 years old, I believe.
So, how do you feel that the world views you because you have autism?
When people hear autism, they have no idea what it means. They automatically think it's some kind of brain disorder or brain disease. Most people act as if I'm not able to be a functioning mature adult. They then speak to anyone I'm with as if they're like my carer, or that I'm too stupid to speak for myself. It gets really infuriating, it gets so upsetting that just because I have something which does make my life harder doesn't mean that it makes me incapable of being a normal person.
That is pretty shitty, actually. How do you cope? I mean, your mind works against you. That's got to be pretty difficult.
It is shitty. I'm lucky to have friends and family who know me and the stuff I deal with, and also have to support me, listen to my rants, console me when I cry. I cry a lot. I think that's one of the ways I deal with this, is by allow my emotions out via crying. But they don't just console me, they actually help me find a way to pull myself back when I lose control and get lost in anger and depression. I really don't think I'd be here without them.
It sounds like they're really important to you. How do you feel when anti-vaxxers throw autism in as evidence against vaccinations, when the doctor and his research has been disproven and struck off numerous times?
First reaction? Second reaction. This is a perfect example of why education is so incredibly important. And people shouting things about things that they know exactly nothing about. It's sad, and it's not just sad. It's damaging. And we don't want to become some kind of like special snowflake or anything. But what we do need is people to understand just how these things happen, or in this case, how they don't happen. But that just reflects poorly upon them, because they don't have the intellect or the ability to do the research for themselves. They see one study and think, well, that's the only study that said that's got to be true. The rest are just playing up to the pharmaceutical companies. How I really feel, if they can't be bothered to think for themselves, then they might just brand themselves as unfit for the entry into the gene pool.
Heavy words today. So, do you have any future plans for family?
I don't know. I know I won't be having kids of my own, but I can't say I will or will not want to perhaps adopt a child at some time in the future. I simply don't know yet.
Well, you are still young, and plenty of time to think on that. There's no need to rush into any decisions yet. Do you feel that knowing that you are autistic, you assign what would be normal reactions, normal responses to being autistic, and then that would then escalate them to being even more prominent?
I think my autism does amplify the reactions, or bring it about that when normal such responses would be warranted. It is hard for me to say, though, since I don't really have reference material, so to speak, about how a normal reaction should be. I don't know how I'd react without the addition of autism.
So early on you mentioned you have anxiety. Does that impact on your autism in any way at all?
It certainly does impact on it. I talked about negative responses to things, and having anxiety both triggers negative responses to things and makes them even more violent. It's hard to answer since it's so closely connected, even intertwined. It does partly cause many of the negative, sometimes violent reactions that I indirectly of myself.
Why is it that you focus upon yourself? Does this also apply to when you spoke about being suicidal in the past? Is that linked into the anxiety and the autism that you suffer from?
I've always had a bad self-image and low self-esteem, in part made so by the constant bullying I dealt with far more for my primary and part of my secondary time in school, of course. I think I subconsciously accepted the idea that I was the one to blame. It's normal what happens with victims of things like this. They first look at themselves, and with me being autistic, that was an easy way for me to point the blame at myself. And I was to be the one to feel the effects, and this also applies to my attempts at suicide in the past.
Not an easy start to life. I hope you're doing better now. You have had a few years to learn to cope and to deal with this, so hopefully you are doing better.
I am. I do feel I've given myself more time and got more resilient to the negative stuff, and made arrangements to more easily deal with my autism and my anxiety. But it's, as much as I'm doing better now, it's a long process, and I don't think this is one you can ever fully win.
Would I be right to assume that your depression is also linked in with this?
You would be right. If for some 10 or so years people tell me that you're different and don't belong and are useless because you're not good at some things, it's gonna leave a mark, a very big mark. And a lot of the time I feel that when it's said by someone of my own age when I was younger, it didn't come from them. It came from the parents.
You're spot on there. So in regards to friends and family, how has this affected them?
For my family, it has meant dealing with me struggling with it all, and that has not been easy on them, and far from it. For example, my parents divorced somewhat recently, but would have done so far earlier were it not that I needed them both so much. For my friends, it has meant accepting I need more time, care, and certainly a lot more attention than a normal friend would.
So, how do you cope with all this?
I do my best to vent my stress and emotions before they become overwhelming. I have close friends who look after me and who I can always talk to should I need it. And I find that letting myself forget everything a bit by focusing on a hobby like gaming or tabletop RPGs help me, as I can slip into the other character, either the game one or the tabletop one, as someone who doesn't suffer from autism or anxiety, and I can feel normal for a while. Those help me cope a lot.
I thought an important part of this would be allowing you to speak to somebody else. Not just somebody else, but as many people as possible who do suffer from anxiety, autism, depression. So there's a possibility there could be somebody listening to this video right now. What would you like to say to them? What words of encouragement could you offer them?
First of all, never be ashamed of who you are, or think that you're worth any less than anyone else simply because you're different. It is important to find someone to talk to, because there's no use just suffering in silence. Talk to your parents, your siblings, your friends, even a school counsellor or psychiatrist, even a GP or family doctor there. They're all fine options to find some support. People may not first understand what autism is, but if they are willing to learn and will be willing to accept it and see that it doesn't in any way make you any less of an amazing person, because you are all amazing. And don't let anyone tell you differently. Autism is something we can learn to live with. It will not always be easy, but don't give up hope and keep your chin up. The burden you bear only makes you stronger. And you can be an example for others, so that they don't have to suffer in silence.
So we know it's not just the individual that has autism that suffers from it. Are there anything you'd like to say to the friends and family of someone who does have autism? Perhaps some words of encouragement or advice for them?
We don't need much in terms of special treatment. We have our difficulties, as is everyone. Ours may just be things that many other people have no trouble with. Be patient and willing to help. And you will have a child or a friend who will go through hell for you.
That's a really nice sentiment, and it's important for you to say this to these people. I think for not only yourself but for the people that are listening. Is there any final thoughts you'd like to add to this before we end this interview?
Only that the best cure for the misunderstanding and prejudice there is against mental health of any kind of education, a willingness to learn new things and not blindly hold to an old idea that may well be founded on nothing but the words of someone else.
Well, thank you for speaking so openly and passionately about this, and I'm very certain that your words will be able to help somebody else who suffers from this. It wasn't easy to read those words, the words of someone that suffers. So guys, you've heard it. It might not be in her voice, but they are her words. So don't let her words be silent. Share this video around. Like it. Make sure as many people in the world see this video. So if we can help one person who suffers from autism, or one person whose information may be wrong, to see that, then we've made the world a better place. Thank you guys.